What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Appliancer, or I guess more correctly, an updated deck profile. Now, Appliancer it's a bit of a funny archetype. It's a level 1 archetype that focuses around links. Now, the main reason I like this archetype is because I like the art of it. Like, look at this. The Appliancer link monsters, I just like the archetype. And it's not a bad archetype either. You can actually get a pretty decent board with this. Now, before we get into the deck profile, I just want to remind you to vote for which deck you'd like me to do a deck profile on. And to subscribe, because you can. Because I think like 80% of my viewers are like not subscribed. And so without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. First off, I run 3 Appliancer Socket Roll. If you control an Appliancer monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, so it's kind of like a free summon. And if another Appliancer Socket Roll is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you special summon 1 Appliancer Socket Roll from your deck. So, let's say you already control 1 Socket Roll, and then you special summon another Socket Roll. Now those you special summon another Socket Roll, so that's pretty good. And that definitely helps with like Link Climb. This is a Link Climb deck, more or less. I also run 3 Appliancer Breaker Bunkle. Man, the names are fun to say. During damage calculation, if an Appliancer monster you control battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can discard this card for that battle. For that battle, that monster you control cannot be destroyed, and also you take no battle damage. So it's kind of like a hand trap for Appliancers that, for like a battle, it prevents your monster from being destroyed and prevents you from taking any damage. Also run 3 Appliancer Copy Bunkle. You can target 1 Appliancer monster you control, special summon this card from your hand, so it special summons from your hand, just much like a Socket Roll, and if you do, this card's name becomes that monster's name until the end phase. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target an Appliancer monster you control, special summon 1 monster with the same name from your hand or graveyard. So they're very good at special summoning each other out. Also run 3 Format Skipper. Format Skipper essentially can take the place of any monster. So like, you can use it and then it will become, you can reveal, let's say, Dryer Drake from your extra deck, and this becomes Dryer Drake, well, by name. I also run the 3 Parallel Exceed. Parallel Exceed is good for link decks because when you link summon a monster, you can special summon this to a zone that monster points in, and then you can just keep going into your other Parallel Exceed. I also run 3 Ash Blossom and 3 Effect Veiler for hand traps because you have a lot of space, and you definitely this deck doesn't have any negations, so you definitely want to run some hand traps. Moving on to spells, I run 3 Appliancer Electrical World. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Appliancer card from your deck to your hand, so it's a searcher. And once per turn, if you link summon an Appliancer link monster, you can add 1 Appliancer monster from your graveyard to your hand, so it's a little bit of regression. And when a monster declares an attack, you can move 1 Appliancer monster you control to another of your main monster zones. So this can really move your link zones around, kind of much in the lightnings of, it's kind of similar like what you'd do in Master Rule 4. I also run the 1 Terraforming. I run the 1 Appliancer Test. You can target 1 Appliancer link monster you control, special summon as many link 1 Appliancer monsters from your grave as possible to a zone that this monster points to. So it's definitely good, kind of like a Monster Reborn, but pretty much better in this archetype, essentially. Although, this was one I've been kind of debating on whether to like bump up or not. I don't think we really need to bump it up because you also have Appliancer Reuse. This is target Appliancer monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So that's essentially like a Monster Reborn. Not to mention I have also Monster Reborn and 3 World Like Stick Succession. So a lot of special summoning from the grave in this deck. And considering they're all machines, I also run 3 Machine Duplication because Machine Duplication is a great card. I also run the E1 1 for 1 because they're all level 1s. E1 Call the Grave. Don't want to get hand trapped and Upstart Goblin because I had a free space. Moving on to the traps, I run 1, and that is the 1 Metaverse because you want to get the field spell on the field. Moving on to the extra deck. First, I run 2 Appliancer Dryer Drake. Cannot be used as link material the turn it is link summoned. All the Appliancers have this effect, unfortunately. If they didn't have this effect, then they'd be much, much better, but unfortunately they do. This link card gains 1000 attack and once per turn during your battle phase. If this card is co-linked, during the damage step, you can switch the locations of 2 Appliancer monsters in your main monster zones. including this card. And if you do, the other monster can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Once per turn, when this card is not co-linked, is targeted for attack, you can negate the attack. So it's good protection. I run 2 Copper Scale. You can tribute this co-linked card, special summon one Appliancer link monster from your graveyard. You can tribute this card that is not co-linked, special summon one level 4 lower Appliancer monster from your graveyard. So the gain effects when they're co-linked and not co-linked. So depending on whether they're co-linked or not co-linked, they gain different effects. Also run 2 Laundry Dragon. Can't be used as link material to turn as link summon. Another player takes any battle damage from attacks following this card, so that's good. Once per turn, after damage calculation, if this co-link card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster. So it's got kind of an Eater of Millions effect. And if this card is not co-linked, you can destroy that opponent's monster. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. So either you can banish it or destroy it. I run the 1 Appliancer Celtipus. Does this mean does that look like a mouse? During damage calculation, if Appliancer link monster you control that is co-linked battles an opponent's monster, your battling monster gains attack equal to the number of monsters co-linked to this card times 1000. And if it is not co-linked, if an Appliancer linked monster you control that is not co-linked to this card is destroyed by battle card effect, you can draw 1 card. So a little bit of a search power. Also run the 1 linked variable because they're all level 1s. And the rest is essentially just like your standard link cards that you run. The IP packets, as well as also like the Boral Sword, Access Code, and Opalosa. So what do you think of Appliancer? Do you think it's a pretty cool archetype? Do you think it's got a pretty neat design? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye!